All right, let's call the meeting, the Delaware County Regional Wastewater Meeting of July 2nd, 2025 to order. Cindy, will you call the roll, please?
Ray,
Present.
Josh,
Present.
Joe,
Present.
Bill,
Here.
Brenda. Present.
First order of business is minutes of the previous meeting put out by Penny. Has everybody had a chance to look at them?
Yes.
If so, I'd entertain.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
Second.
I have a first and a second. Any additions, corrections? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Approved. Treasurer's report. Mr. Olson is running a little bit behind, so I'll jump in. Claims from May 30th, 2025 through June 26th, 2025 totaling $223,201.34. Account balances as of June 26, 2025. Cash operating balance, $420,000. Improvement fund balance, $2,465,172.48. The May 2025 Delville TIF transfer, $9,411. And the Indiana Bond Bank transfer of $18,663.05. As you see below that, we still are rolling 5 CDs at $300,000 apiece through 11/24 of 25. I would so entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
I'll second.
First and second, any corrections, discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Oppose? Approved. Old business, 8621 South Walnut.
I can speak on this. We periodically go through a set of accounts that we've had payment arrangements on, and back in 2017, we had, when Danielle first became to represent us, I think it was like within the first or second month, the hardship committee entered into a payment arrangement for a house over one of our customers, where I think that at that time they had like $2,500. The hardship committee agreed to take it down to $1,500 as long as they stayed current on their monthly bill, and they were going to have that $1,500 account balance still carry on their account. And we were waiting on a backdated for a disability claim that they were going to pay us back on. In the process of that, we removed them from the delinquencies, for we didn't keep on sending them collections. And we were going across a set of accounts, and this one came back across our account, and it had been so many years that we couldn't figure out why it was still at a $1,500 balance on it. We did some digging, went through some minutes, and figured out that the hardship committee removed it down to $1,500, and it just kind of flew under the radar. We've been in contact with the resident, and I think it was you that spoke with them, or Davey. Penny spoke with them, and they asked that they're still in a situation that they can't pay off the $1,500, but they wanted to. They did recognize the past due amount, and they wanted to make an arrangement for paying an additional $100 a month and their current monthly bill. I think by the time that we would attempt to go after them to get the $1,500, we'd probably be in bad money if we got to that point. This was something I was comfortable with, and I'd recommend that the board approve it. Now that we they said that they are on ACH every month and have not missed a payment of their currently monthly bill, haven't got any late fees or anything like that. So they're in good standing on that side. And they said that they would allow us to add that to their ACH every month as well. So take us, a little bit over a year to get it all paid in full, but that would be my recommendation, is accept the $100 payment arrangement plus their current monthly bill. But I just wanted to bring that before I gave them a call back and told them we'd accept it and bring it before you guys.
So you're saying they aren't behind? They haven't been
No,
behind their payments
They
since then?
they stuck to their payment. It was kind of vague. We just said, reach out to us when you got that backdated settlement. Of course, they never did. We find it years later, handful of years later, that when we did reach out to them, they took full responsibility for the past due amount, so they wanted to make an arrangement, and they'd be good keeping on ACH.
So Jason, their bill will go up to $100 total.
160.31. They're gonna pay $100 towards the past due amount plus stay current on the monthly bill.
And you're not gonna be able to probably pursue this for making it worthwhile.
Yeah.
So I think it's probably a good
Board's
idea
pleasure.
also.
I make a motion that we approve the 100 extra per month.
I second that. I think since they've been keeping up with what they've
Good.
had.
You got a first and a second for the monthly bill plus $100 until the balance of the 1,500 is paid off. All in favor? Aye. Oppose? Approved.
Jason, do you wanna send a written letter and follow up to put that in writing to them?
Yeah, we got a general contract. I'll make them sign out and get that attached to the account as well. New business, we have, a couple months ago, the board requested that we get some quotes on some of our, unmetered connection points, to the MSD interceptor. I've got that in hand. Was never able to get but one. We've used grip in the past we thought it was gonna be substantially higher. Scott ended up finding a manhole that was gonna be a good location for both of them, and then another one that I didn't know if it was gonna be a viable option, and Grip said they could do both of them in existing manholes and still capture all the flow points. To get those two done, $27,071. I think the last time we did Tanglewood, they're both gonna be solar powered with battery backup. So to get the two done, $27,071. But the last time we did one in Tanglewood, it was $16,000. So it's right in line with what we paid for one 2 years ago. I'm sorry.
Gotcha.
You need a motion on that one?
Yeah.
Before you go to motion, Ray, everybody understand why we're doing this? These are the last two places that we do not have meter flow on. These are flat rates. These are discussions we've had throughout the year. This will take us to where we can measure off flow. Okay, just want to make sure everybody knew where we were at.
I
Go
make
ahead,
a
sir.
motion that we approve the quote of $27,071.
I'll second it.
I've got a first and second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Oppose? Motion approved.
We have a Commonwealth invoice for the Rorton Sanitary Sewer Improvements Projects. This is for RPR work inspection for $8,333.57. I think Rob will have a little bit more to add to this, but I'd make a recommendation. We go ahead and get this paid. We still have, after this, I think it was short of $35,000 on the RPR side of that contract left.
I make a motion that we approve the $8,333.57.
A second.
I've got a first and second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Oppose? Approved.
We have a quality repair, Rorton number 2 lift station check valve replacement. I reached out probably a couple days after the last board meeting and filled the board in. We have some air hammering issues and the valves are shutting extremely tough, and we replaced these valves probably 13. What do you think? From the 2013, and we got 2 bids on this. The lowest one that came in to get this done was Quality Repair. They're going to be put, if the board so approves, we'll get 2 8-inch check valves replaced, $11,470. The next one was $17,000 from another outfit locally. Yeah. So there's I went ahead and got a show of hands earlier in the month and got these ordered, but I wanted to go ahead and get this approved in this board meeting. They were about 6 weeks out, and I think they're going to end up getting them done sooner. They said they could be in as early as next week to get those replaced for us. So we were about 3 weeks when they originally thought.
I make a motion that we approve the check valve replacement quote of $11,470.
Second.
First and second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved.
I can go ahead and give an update. Collections last month, we were at 3,709.19. As of today, for the cap off list, we were at 1470.88. So I think when I sent that out on Monday, we were well over $4,000. Scott and Tyler got the new letters out in the doors, and a lot of payments have came in, and we've even got a couple more since that $1,400 was there, so it's even lower than that now. So it's just a tough time during the summer to do collections, and but everything is coming in like usual. Other than that, we had the Kamak project was supposed to start the 23rd. We got pushed back 2 weeks, and they'll be coming in. They changed the main project leader on that job, so it seems like that's why the job got pushed back. So cleaning and televising will continue probably next week and take off from there.
So we still online to
Yeah,
reschedule?
it wasn't the completion date wasn't pushed, so they got us a new updated schedule, but just the start date was pushed back 2 weeks.
Okay. Any questions for Jason? Hang on just a second. Yes, Mr. Burton.
Back station project, is there anything that we need to coordinate public safety wise or announcing to the public? Town's behalf? Is there gonna be any closures on roadways, anything like that?
I've already got there and all that.
We're good to go?
Yeah.
You guys are good.
Scott went ahead and got the water meter. We're gonna be getting water, and we talked to George about dumping after cleaning and everything, so we're good. We appreciate you guys'
I
help with
love that
that.
all this stuff happens without me knowing.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yep.
Thank you, guys.
Less work for you.
Yeah.
Anything else, Jason?
Rob can expand on this a little bit. We worked in sewer improvements project. Brackney's still working through their updated punch list. The board will have to make Rob's put a letter in front of you. You can see we are past the 30 days of substantial completion since the updated punch list has come out, and Rob's gonna need some direction from you guys, what we want to do as far as pressing Brackney on the schedule, the punch list, and liquidated damages, and go from there. We had substantial completion in March. Then we updated the punch list even more. So when the new punch list came out, May 30th, is that correct? So beginning of June, they had 30 days. We're past that day, and the punch list still exists there. I want to make it clear that it's been a fairly easygoing job up until this point, and it's kind of, Rob will voice the same thing. It's just kind of one of those things you run into. It's crossing that finish line with some of these things, and them taking on new work. But we need to do something as far as, pressing our point and getting them to get the last bit of this completed. So
Rob, I'm going to jump. You want to go ahead? Let's go, because I know this is the only thing you got. So let's go ahead and get this wrapped up while we're on it, please.
So, for context, like Jason said, generally construction has gone for the most part according to Hoyle, okay? That being said, we accepted their request for substantial completion back in March, and when we did that, we issued a certificate that basically gives them 30 days to get the punch list, which is all the odds and ends that we've identified that doesn't necessarily impact operations or performance, but it's all the other crap, right, that's just kind of hanging out there. The initial draft of the punch list was updated, okay, and it was finalized actually by me on May 30th. So my thought on this for this board to consider, there's kind of two doors that we can open and paths we can go down at this point. The certificate of substantial completion says you got 30 days to get your punch list items complete. And if you don't, by contract, there's a provision in there for damages for you guys, $1,000 a day for any day beyond the contractual completion date, which is final completion. if we give them the benefit of the doubt, and I'm not saying they've earned it or anything else, but if what I'm defining as the final punch list was provided to them on May 30th, so basically end of May, beginning of June, then according to their certificate, they have 30 days to get that done, which is basically the month of June, okay? So my recommendation to you folks is let's head this off now. Let's not let it linger, because any of you that have been involved in construction during your careers know it's real easy to get to like 97% of the way through. It's the last 3% that lingers. So my recommendation is we notify them, hey, you had 30 days, and technically we're giving you a little bit more than that, but 30 days from when you got the final punch list is up. So by contract, you're potentially subject to damages. All right, we can either tell them now we're going to enforce damages, or something for you to consider is saying, look, for the most part, it's gone well. Give us a firm date on when you're going to get these dozen or so items wrapped up, and it's touch-up painting. There's some fence work that needs to be addressed. There's some pipe supports in the valve vaults that are missing that need to be it's odds and ends, right? From a restoration standpoint, I think Scotty will agree. For the most part, they've done a pretty good job on restoration. So these are just things at the actual lift stations that need to be addressed. We can tell them, you guys didn't get it done in 30 days, we're going to start enforcing damages, or we could tell them, give us a date, give us a detailed schedule for when you're going to get this stuff done within the date you've identified. And if you don't get done, we reserve the right to retroactively impose damages effective July 1, because that's the first day after their 30 days. So I just need this board to tell me how much teeth you want me to put in my letter. Do you want me to tell them we're putting it to you now? Or do you want me to say, give us a date and a plan, and if you don't follow the date that you've given us, we reserve the right to enforce the damages clause?
I got a question.
Yes, ma'am.
They have moved on to other jobs, right? They're busy.
They've been doing other jobs simultaneous to this.
I would suggest us giving them a date. So that way, have they moved on to other jobs, they will have to pull their crew off of something and address our issues instead of our problem, them working it out. I don't want to say our problem, them taking care of us first, because they have probably moved crews on, and we give them a date instead of them telling us when they're going to get
That works.
to us.
That's fine.
That would be maybe 2-week period or something like that.
I-
So they have to take care of us
I asked
first.
him if we agree, and that's the road I was going down. If he can get the letter out to them by the end of the week so they have it, they need to give him a response by the end of next week. He can forward out to us in an email. We'll have a standstill completion date, and with the if they miss that date, we're going all the way
Right.
back to.
I think
July.
what Joe's saying is we tell them what date we want it done by,
Right.
right?
Right? I mean,
Instead of
Should've-
asking them for a date, just
Right.
say, you need to have this done by the end of July.
that's
If you
what I would
don't,
like to
we're
see.
gonna retroactively put damages on you for the whole month.
Well, and I think this board needs to be aware too, the $8,000 bill that was just approved, the discussion today was basically most of that $8,300 was
Us
As a result-
babysitting those guys, yeah.
of them delaying it. So right now you're sitting in the whole 8,000 if you look at it that way.
Well,
I mean, it's still within your contract period, but what I'm
right,
saying
you're
is
not over budget.
you're not over budget, but that's money that is caused by their delay.
We should have been
So
somewhere else.
that's my point.
That's
Within
why I'd
side-
like to
within
give
side
them a
the deal.
date.
So what, do I hear it?
I think the end of July is too long,
We
actually.
send a letter giving them grace. I mean, by the end of the week, a letter goes out. They have grace until the end of July. As of August 1st, we go all the way back to July 1 at $1,000 a day. Is that what I'm hearing, Joe?
I'd like it less than that amount of time, but not till, because we're July 2nd or 3rd.
Well, Friday's a holiday,
Yeah.
so they're gonna get this letter tomorrow, so.
But if it didn't, you know what, they're not gonna bill us for the overtime that they're going to accrue because they didn't finish our job. It will be up to them to get it done.
Yes.
And
We're
don't
home.
make it our problem any longer for
We're still
For
holding
us.
$208,000 in
I get it.
retainage.
They
Which
just
we
need,
pay right away when
That-
we get our finals.
When-
We
when-
don't
when they
delay
get
any
this-
payments.
Yeah, when they get this complete, that's all they're gonna get in return is what is on the table right now. We've held that just to make sure this is all done.
And it's a bonded project until it's done.
yeah, I don't think we're ready to go call
Yeah,
a
so
bonding company
we're
on them,
gonna get
but
it, they're gonna get it done, but
You're-
it
you're-
needs to be in our
you're-
time.
the items that are on the punch list, you have more than enough money in retainage to cover it
Mhm.
without even worrying about the bond.
So Joe, are you saying give them 30 or 3 weeks?
If he puts a letter out right away till the end of July, then yeah.
That's what it'd be. If he gets
I'll
it
go
out by the
ahead
end
and
of this
second
week, it
it.
gives them
Well, it'll
3
go
weeks.
out, the letter will go out tomorrow.
I'll second her motion.
But is that what
Okay.
she acted like Joe didn't want the end of
He
July.
just made a motion and it is
Okay.
what you were saying, to the end of July, so.
Alright.
Letter goes
I'm
out
all
tomorrow,
for it.
they have until the end of July, July 30th, 31st, and then we go all the way back to July 1st for
July
damages if they
1.
miss the 31st day.
Yes.
I'll second that.
Okay, so I've got a first and a second. Any other discussion, questions? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose?
Welcome
Approved.
back. That was golf.
Thanks, Rob.
Danielle, do you need to see that letter before I send it out?
I don't think so. I've read the current draft, so if you just send me the draft that goes out, yeah, for the record, yep, I think I'll be fine with it.
Send it on to the board.
Any of the board members wants to know how Wawa's is, just ask Pete over here. That's where he's been.
Welcome back, Pete. We're moving on. I'll let him get you afterwards. I'm sorry, I'm gonna jump back up. Danielle,
Yeah,
do you want to, let's go, back up to, the amended salary ordinance, that was under new business. We jumped over that we discussed last, that's on. Where we made the changes over the one-time deal.
you wouldn't.
Well, what I was gonna ask you, can you give an update? I know there were some changes to the board last time. Did we got all those taken care of?
We did. So in front of you is the clean version. What we changed, you've already introduced it, but what
Right.
was changed consistent with what the State Board of Accounts said that they would consider acceptable. You have it where it reflects current employees that were working during the 23-24 audit reporting period. They qualify for this. And I even added a sentence at the end to say it does not apply to employees who are not employed on the date this ordinance takes effect or employees hired after this date. So it's only current employees that are in existence today that were working at that time period, to cover what you guys had told me you wanted to do. So that's the only change, is we just cleaned up that language a little bit in that paragraph. Everything else stayed the same. So I think it's ready for approval if that's your.
And all this is what we were already,
This
this is
making
our
the
original, and
amendment where
this
we
is
went to the
one little amendment,
the
right?
1,500 and that's it, so it goes in there, but we wanted the dates changed, or
Yes.
as far as to the time frame of who got it and why.
Yes.
Everybody had a chance to look at it, is everybody good with it as the way it says? So being so, then I would look for a motion to adopt ordinance 2025-02.
So moved.
Second.
Got a first and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Oppose? Motion's approved. Joe, if you would start that down that side of the table, please. All right, that catches that up. And now we'll go back to you on anything else that you may have.
Was that all you had?
Oh, no, I just did want to update the board too. We did get a new employee hired. We're about a week and a half in, working out great. My recommendation, I know I came to the board last meeting about, having some of the mowing subbed out with the, kind of the path that we're going down with training and everything. I'd make the recommendation, we keep the mowing part going through to the end of July. He's doing a lot of running around with Scotty, doing a lot of training, and I don't want to take
Get him up to
Scott off
speed
what he's
before you-
doing before we cut him loose. He's catching on quick. We got 30+ lift stations all over the county, and it can get a little hectic out there by yourself. So,
And his name is
Tyler Pros.
Tyler what?
Pros. And I was going to call the mowers and just tell them if everybody's good with it, stop at the end of July, then we'll take it on after that. But it gives us a couple weeks to get training complete and ready to cut them loose.
I hear a recommendation from the board.
I think
Do we
that's a
need a
good plan.
motion?
Okay.
Pete made the motion.
Do we need it as a
I think
motion?
you
I think
made,
we
I think you made a motion to do the original mowing, so I would probably,
back it up till the
Clean
end
it
of
up with
July.
Yeah, so move then.
Amend to the end of July. I've got a first, I got a second. I got a first and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved.
No, that's all I have though.
You got anything else, Danielle?
just two things, just updates. So one thing we've been working on for quite a while is Watson's. We've had a couple of conversations now with Watson's attorney. I think we finally gained some traction. They provided some drawings that didn't seem to show us again what we needed to see on the county road side as far as a right-of-way is concerned. I think they have realized now that the property owner owns to the middle of the road. So they have now located a description of where the lines are. Rob's team is trying to overlay that to some mapping to make sure that we have an accurate legal description where those lines are in place so that they can create the documents to dedicate those lines to us. We just want to make sure that they are accurate. He's just waiting on a CAD file. So we've been in communication this last 2 weeks, pretty heavy with them. So I think that's getting a lot closer to resolution finally. But just to give you an update, I would think maybe even by next month, we might have some final documents, if not definitely by September, I would say. Also, I think we are in a place where we're ready to send a letter to MSD concerning the rate increase. But before I do so, I think it might be beneficial to maybe have one final committee meeting if you would so entertain that. And we could get that set to have a final discussion before the things that we've kind of touched on the last couple of months is put into form to get sent out to them. I did send that initial letter that was requested once we received some communications about discussions with our rate consultants. I haven't received a response back, but sent that letter out a couple weeks ago.
June 17th, yes. Ray, Joe, Jason, you guys want to look at your calendar now, see if we come up with a date real quick?
You can if
So
you want
let's-
to, or you can do it in an email to us, whatever you'd like.
Let's go ahead and knock it out and get it down with her. She's sitting right here, so, what's next week's schedule? What do you have as openings?
Which day?
Next week, 7 through 10? You got, what's easier?
Monday afternoon. Tuesday I'm in mediation.
I'm wide open Monday afternoon. When I say afternoon, like 1 o'clock on.
It's good for me.
Joe,
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock Monday. Jason?
The 14th,
No, next week.
Seven.
next
Seven.
Monday, the 7th.
Make that work.
You good? You still good? You still good, Ray?
What's that mean? It
Don't
doesn't
do
work, but
anything
you'll
during
make it
the
work.
not at Wawa's working.
You keep control of this meeting. Pete, you were late.
You look at the calendar and it should say, I'm not doing anything.
Hey,
Right. Coffee. Yeah, I can interrupt that. Yes, Ray, I'm available.
Comes in late and just takes
Shut up,
over the
Pete.
show. Hey, Ray, bring it back over here. Are we good on the 7th?
hey.
Okay, let's set 1 o'clock on the 7th.
And where, Danielle's office?
Danielle's office.
you
Will you
back
put
to
out a
work
meeting
now.
invite for that Monday at 7?
Monday the 7th at, what did you say, what time?
1 p.m.
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock.
I was
1
gonna
o'clock.
put it in my
your office.
calendar. As a reminder.
That way you have something in your calendar.
You got anything else, dear?
You know, see Barb's
No, we did the
list.
ordinance, so that was,
Fair.
Say something.
Yeah,
Is there
fair.
anything with, any updates on the Westel? What's going on? with
oh,
that?
yeah, sorry, I do have something else. I do that all the time. Thank you. At the end of, actually, maybe I should just say that to you since you say we always steal your thunder and you don't get to talk enough. Okay, so, at the end of last week, we were able to have some communication with Westel. We have the draft list from the state as to where we ranked when we submitted the application. So we have just a few weeks before a finalist comes out. We've had some communication and have been talking quite a bit with Rob as to what we need to do in the interim. Where can we pick up a few more points that we think they may have missed, or if we have any additional information that has come to light since then. We have a letter from the Westell superintendent that's actually the interim superintendent that's on her way out. They have hired a new superintendent who we got to meet on Friday. So we have one aspect that we definitely think we might be able to get another point out of there. In the meantime, before the finalist comes out, Rob, as a part of what he is doing with that application, this is just part of his process that's not costing anyone anymore. He will continue to work and whittle down that scoring sheet to see if there's anything else he can pull out of there to try to help. We did land about right in the middle of the list. Maybe around 89 projects on there, and we were around 40.
Yeah, I didn't bring the list. I think you're right. 80.
I think 94 and we landed 40th.
Okay.
There were
That's what I thought
94
it
that
was.
were ranked.
And there were some that were unranked.
There were several that
Yeah.
were scored and not ranked for a
Right.
variety of different reasons, but of the ranked ones, we were about mid.
And
Yeah, but
and
the
how many-
difference, oh, sorry,
I was gonna say, and how many get funded?
that's hard to say.
That's a way to get, yeah.
So,
Yeah,
Who's ready, which
I'll describe this in
quarter?
historical context.
yeah,
When you look at the list, if you just focus on those projects that come up on the first page, historically, the top 2/3 genuinely get some sort of funding off.
okay,
So, in like the top 25,
okay,
okay, when they publish their final list, they'll have a defined fundable range, and it's usually the top 10 or 12. But I'm just telling you, historically, they either can't meet the closing schedule that SRF puts on them,
mhm,
or other funding pieces aren't in place, and they're not ready.
Yeah.
So usually it opens up, and it ends up going down about 2/3 of the way to the first page. That's kind of how you look at it. So about the top 25, get into that range. It's not out of the realm of possibility that they would get a funding.
Right.
Now, as Daniel mentioned, that application was scored in the 40s, high 40s, somewhere around there. But if you actually look at the points between the top 25 and where we were at, 4 points is a huge swing, which is why,
I think it was
cost of-
10 rankings just in 3 or 4 points.
So
okay,
it's a cost of doing business thing for me, which is why we continue to try to get this thing
Right.
pushed up as far as I can get it pushed, even if it dies, I did my act, right?
Right.
So that's what she's.
okay,
So what we've asked Westell now is they need to talk internally and be able to come back and say, okay, this is a project we do want to make happen, and here's what we can bond, or here's what we can bring to the table, or we don't think this is on our radar right now, we can't handle this, or we don't think we have the bonding capacity because of X, Y, or Z. I think the next piece that the state's looking for is what else is coming to make this a doable project? And that piece of the equation is the Westell piece, because they're the ones that are going to be, bonding this project if it happens. So we basically just met with him, gave him the information and said, here's where it is. We have a few weeks. We need to kind of know what you're thinking before then. We'll keep working in the meantime, but here's how it's scored. This isn't final, and it certainly can move. Project number 7 is coming off the list. It's one of his that's not going forward. So we already know of one coming off that's ahead of us.
See, Camille. So we had discussions with them prior to the list coming out, and they told us, they were very matter of fact, they want to be gap bridgers.
right,
So they need to know how much it's going to take from them to make it work. And until the other player identifies what they're willing to do, SRF's going to struggle to be willing to offer.
sure,
That's why.
Playing their
that
cards close
project
to the
should-
vest.
That project should have full time.
Okay,
It didn't for a very good reason.
okay. So,
That's the context you need to.
understand, yeah. So, and I guess I haven't necessarily paid attention, and maybe I didn't ask the question, and maybe I've just slept since then. What is the situation with the plant at Westdale? Is it non-functional for next year? Is it
No,
they're
I think
limping
it's
by?
functional.
It is what I mean. So if this project doesn't happen, where are they?
I think they are putting a Band-Aid on it to get by for now. So the project that they're working on, which would have been incorporated, the work had to be done regardless to the lines going into the school, but the inlining, I think is the best way to describe it, putting a Band-Aid.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
That's what they're doing.
doing
From the school to the plant.
Hoping
okay.
it buys them
time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
So they're gonna be able to open as far as I understand. I haven't been told anything otherwise,
Okay.
so I don't wanna act like
Right,
I know.
right.
For certain, but that is my understanding is that project will get them by for now until they either get this situation moving or have time.
That was in the proposed project to begin with, but there's actually work on the equipment that
So
needs to be done in some shape, form, or fashion, because they got dinged by the state for effluent violation.
Okay, so I guess this is my question is, I mean, is this we may not do it this year, it may be a next year if their cash flow is such that,
That's the story.
okay,
Right? That's their position.
okay.
The application of the grant will lay there, I mean, for,
How much money we got tied up in it right now?
Well, and by we, I will say Delaware County because, some came from the redevelopment commission, some from the commissioners through ARP, but 50,000, not including his time. I mean, you're getting paid for the PER, but there's a lot you didn't get paid for, but that does not include any of my fees, and I've spent an
We're
exorbitant amount of time on.
county 70, and we paid 60 for the PER for the first go around, then we updated it for another 10.
I think it was 40,
Their position.
40 and 10.
Their position is they want to try to do it as cheap as
When we did the ARP.
Well, sure, who doesn't,
600.
right, yeah, I mean, that's,
But it's been, it was a problem 3 years ago. It was a problem 3 years
Well,
before that.
right, I mean, it's never gonna get,
There's 2 empty ones sitting there now.
yeah,
Which one's
Well,
the next?
yeah,
So,
Recorded.
what I told, Jason earlier is, once you're on the list, they'll be on the list when it comes out next year.
right.
Yes.
Okay, and the interim superintendent point blank asked me on Friday, what's the risk if we wait? And I
Things
said-
get more expensive,
I said, exactly, I said, cost is gonna go up.
right,
And I also said, the other risk that you face is you may not rank as high,
right, cause
because there may be other applications
Yeah.
that come in that they deem
more
needy.
more needy, yeah.
So, there's that.
At what point will they start getting fines for
Oh,
everything that's
They're
happened
already
and their
under-
delays that they've been
I
doing?
can't speak for them.
Are they under an
We
AO?
talked about it in, I think we talked about it in the PER.
They are
They're already
under an AO?
the microscope.
Okay.
They're already under the microscope of the state,
Okay,
okay? So whether they've been threatened with fines or penalties, or they've negotiated their way out of it, I don't know. I'm not doing it on their behalf.
Mhm.
It just depends. If they continue to kick the can and they continue to have violations of their discharge permit, that's when it will get messy.
they're either gonna have to do
Yeah,
this
they're
project or
school, yeah.
spend 1.5 to $2 million to rebuild or restructure their entire facility now.
Yeah,
They've got to make a decision, it's not optional,
yeah,
They
okay,
need to do something. They need to do something,
they need to do something.
and they'll do it when they feel like they're ready.
Okay, any other questions concerning on West Step?
and they don't have an operator on
They do-
board,
They have a contract operator.
they contract operate, right? Okay,
I'm sure they have maintenance guys that.
yeah,
work on the grounds,
due to,
But they do have a guy that signs their monthly.
okay.
Anything else, Daniel?
Thank you.
Moving on, Miss Ashley, your turn.
Hello, everyone. You probably noticed in your report that our numbers weren't as great as they were the past 2 months, but that's because we had a lot of good updates the past 2 months. So you'll notice that when we put stuff on the website, whether we were hiring, the construction going on, finishing up at Royerton, we had that video. We see more activity on the website. The CAMAC delayed us a little bit, so we didn't have as many updates last month on the website. So that's why, if you were a little alarmed seeing some of those numbers, that's why. We sent out the email last week, so I wanted to share those numbers with you. You had a 22.5% open rate with 422 opened emails during that time. And you had, it looks like, 6 people unsubscribed from that email. Do you have any questions, any updates?
Can we sign him back up? I'm just kidding.
Who's next on the list for the videos?
Well, so Ron still has not got with me on.
Who?
Ron?
Ron has not?
Ron is the one who first said
I
he
was gonna
would
say, I
do
thought
it.
we had one last.
And he has not. Jason did a video last month. And Jason, we were going to do one at CAMAC, but then that project got delayed. So we'll be getting on that. Still, if any other board member would like to do a
Oh, he's
video.
down there. Look at him. He's all eager.
Yeah.
He's a busy.
Oh, we will be doing an employee spotlight for Tyler
Ray's
as well.
too busy. He's got coffee, so Pete, you can handle that.
Hey, just meet Ray at
me
whatever
alone.
coffee shop he's at. Just-
I'll be there,
That's
Ray. Put me in your calendar.
Right before Barb or after?
All right. Anybody have any questions for Ashley? Thank you, dear.
All right, thank you. Have a good 4th.
You too.
too.
Seeing that, I am at the bottom of the list. I'll ask this board, is there any other board member that has anything they need to bring to the table today?
I'll put a side note, when Danielle does give us the green light on, Lawson's, we already do have the equipment and on hand and subscription to handle all the monitoring of that and everything too. So it's not gonna be anything out of pocket except transferring the, electrical side of it and everything to us, so.
Is there a lift station on the north side of McGalliard for that?
Yes, right now it's just it's a duplex unit just for that.
Yeah.
We'll put alarm monitoring in it for us, but we already have that.
Okay.
We have an extra alarm on hand.
And so it goes underneath and then connects in there on
Yep.
500?
Right before burn, yep.
Okay. Right there at that, okay,
Okay,
thanks.
good. Is there anybody in public comment? About to speak? Seeing none, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Got a first and second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you all.